Hey everybody, I'm Joe DeGanzik, and this is part 3 of the Getting Started Guide to the Smart Home right here on Smarter Home Life. And I realized I hadn't mentioned on the first 2, but I want to mention this, kind of throw it out right now, that of course I'm here to answer your questions, whether that is through email or to help you with complicated projects through dedicated real-time consulting sessions over like Skype and FaceTime. You can get a hold of me at smarterhomehelp.com. It's kind of just a quick redirect URL that'll jump to the right page on the Smarter Home Life website. So smarterhomehelp.com, fill in your name and email and question, send it in. And the most interesting ones that apply to a big audience do wind up on the monthly Q&As. So I thought I would throw that out there before I get started. And so the third episode, third video in the series, home type, home age, construction materials, wiring, all of this can affect your smart home. So at least here in the US, it was around the late 80s, early 90s that some of the codes changed and neutral wires were required in switch boxes. And neutral wires are generally required by smart switches, smart dimmers, voice switches like the ecobee or ecobee Switch Plus I just reviewed recently, and things like keypads, anything that's going to be in a wall that's got to light up and have connectivity. Some of them do not require a neutral wire, but most of them do. And that's basically to complete the circuit, to have constant power to the device, and then let the device control the load of, whether it's a ceiling fan or a light or something else. And depending on the electrical codes in your particular country and location in the world, this may be totally different. You may be in a location that still doesn't have neutral wiring. And specifically talking about these devices and in terms of geographic differences is, of course, power line differences. Here in the US and various other parts of the world, we're on 110. Much of the world is on 220. And that is, of course, a huge difference. And this applies to not just wired-in devices, but plug-in devices and just about everything else. So many companies now do make smart home devices that are geared for different parts of the world. For plug-in products that simply provide some type of service, like a camera or something like that are Wi-Fi based, you can probably find the one that you like and then just get an adapter for it if it won't work on your power system. But some products that are wireless products tend to need to be made for that part of the world. Even like your sensor products that are Z-Wave or Zigbee, sometimes there are local parts of the world that have local frequency ranges that they just have to work for those ranges. And if they don't, then they may work, but they might violate local codes. So the other part of this equation is talking about your home's, the materials that make up your home. And this is a big factor with wireless signals. And this goes for Wi-Fi. This also goes for the wireless things like I've talked about, Zigbee and Z-Wave and some of the other protocols as well. For Wi-Fi, mesh networking, like these systems that let you have really good Wi-Fi throughout your home, are a really great solution. If your home is multiple stories and or it's more than 1,500 square feet, or maybe that you want to have Wi-Fi in your big, beautiful backyard. Companies like Eero and Netgear with their Orbi line, Google's Wi-Fi system, and others can provide Wi-Fi, really good Wi-Fi signal strength to your home, all the different parts of it if you have a large home. And of course, we have smart speakers. We've got phones and tablets and Wi-Fi devices that all use up those pieces of those Wi-Fi signals. And so it's really important more than ever in a larger home to make sure that you've got wireless, you've got really good reliability. The other piece of this is that you also need to think about this if you have a large home and you want to use something like Philips Hue, which is a lighting system, smart lighting system. It uses Zigbee to communicate between the Hue bridge or hub and all of their lights. Now, while the lights themselves and the devices will actually repeat the signals to make sure that they got to all the different Hue lights, if you have a large home and you have the hub in one corner of the home and it's clustered with a few lights, and then way on the other side of the home, you've got one or two Hue lights, the signal may not make it. So you have to think about this. This is, again, going back to your diagram and your little cheat sheet for the layout of your home. You have to think about, okay, where do I place this? For systems like Philips Hue and anything that are Z-Wave devices or sensors that, again, are these mesh networking systems, you want to try to make sure that the hub is close to the center of your home or close to the center of where all of these devices are going to live, so that they can have their signal and eat it too, so to speak. The last topic for this particular video is owning versus renting. And this is the kind of the easy one to make a decision on, because you can think of certain things like, okay, smart lights are going to be easier to screw in a new smart light bulb than to take down the fixture and rewire it, or to actually wire in a smart switch or something like that. And the same thing goes for something like a smart lock. They have, of course, the ever popular August smart lock, and then a few by other names, Friday and Sesame, and there's a few others that allow you to just change out the internal portion that normally is your thumb turn, and the internal portion becomes the automated part of the lock. It turns your deadbolt and you don't have to rekey it. It's really fantastic. So that's great for renters. Renters usually have the problem of, you can do it now and ask for forgiveness later, but you might get in trouble from your landlord or your leasing office. It really is up to you and your situation. Don't do anything that's going to really get you in trouble. And thermostats, I have personally always changed these things out. I don't get in trouble with it. My landlords here are two of my best friends. They love home automation stuff, so they're like, have at it, no problem. The final thing, going back to the signal strength and Wi-Fi, part of the reason of putting in these extenders of the Wi-Fi, basically the mesh Wi-Fi systems from those companies, and also locating the hub for something like a Philips Hue system is really important, is depending on your home's age and its construction, really. Again, apartment complexes can be made more out of metal studs and so forth. If you have a lot of metal in the walls, the signals may not penetrate that much. And again, depending on the type of construction, your home might be poured concrete. It might be any number of different building materials that could inhibit wireless signals. Different systems like Insteon, one of Insteon's great benefits that I talked about on the previous video, is it uses both wireless and also it actually gets the signals across your home through the actual electrical wiring. So it actually has two ways to guarantee that the signals get across. So you have to think about all these different factors, especially on a larger home, a larger system. Like I said, a smaller home, a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you're generally not going to have to worry about this too much, because the signals will get across, in terms of they'll get through your walls. It's a smaller home, shouldn't be a problem. So that pretty much wraps it up for this particular video. Next one is going to cover, of course, the time it takes, the investment, and if you're willing to go it alone or need some help. So I'll see you on video number 4.